Medica Wellness Studio. I'm Angelica Maria Koch with your inspiring and educational videos, how to live optimal health and vibrant well-being. I'm super excited today. This is the launch of the new Discovery series called Healthy Family and Soul Medicine. In these videos, which I will feature every 2 weeks, I want to focus on moms and dads and newborns, babies and children and even teenagers and their common physical ailments. From A to Z, we cover symptoms like acne and asthma and colds and coughs and fever and growing pains and urinary tract infection or foot and mouth disease or sleep problems and even what to do at your next camping trip, just to mention a few. I also want to focus on mental and emotional or behavioral problems, which can be quite a challenge among the family members. Over the many decades in clinical practice, I've seen lots of moms and dads and their children's ailments. Today, I spend most of my time as an instructor at educational organizations and universities where I teach courses in homeopathy and quantum healing. And from that experience, I developed a real passion in sharing the knowledge with people from all walks of life, from the beginner's mind to the healthcare practitioner. So yes, I do understand, when young parents feel completely helpless and overwhelmed, trying to appease their crying child in the middle of the night with an excruciating earache. So I hope these videos, will inspire you and educate you how to overcome this hurdle and feel more confident. It is not uncommon that your child maybe falls ill by the end of the week. Maybe Friday afternoon, he or she has been playing football, in the park and was exposed to chill. And that very night, usually about 1, 2 o'clock in the night, he or she wakes up with a fever and maybe excruciating earache. The whole family was looking forward to a relaxing weekend. Well, let's go now, because you will be up all night and trying to meet this situation, trying to calm down your child, maybe end up in the emergency department of your local hospital the next morning or urgent care. And they will take care of you or send you home with a prescription of antibiotics, which sometimes are appropriate. But often with common ailments, particularly earaches, for example, the symptom might just resolve by itself after a few days. And how about if you would know in that moment to really, go into your cupboard and have the right remedies right there at your hand, and you can save yourself all these, hours filled with anxiety and just sitting around waiting for help. So all the suggested natural supplementation and homeopathic remedies in this video are available over the counter. I'm not going to give you a list with 20 different difficult to pronounce supplements or remedies which you can't have access to. I want you to become confident. I want you to learn how to meet the symptoms in an easy and effective way. So to stay updated, I really encourage you here to share these videos with your friends, among parents now, because they will be packed with a lot of information, and subscribe to the channel. Today, let's focus on angry and irritable children. And again, I'm not talking about labeled children like ODD or psychological difficult diseases. I'm talking about straightforward, angry and irritable children. They can be quite a test. They're aggressive, they're angry, they're irritable, and we see anger outbursts, we see mood changes, we see the tears flowing, we see the kicking and the screaming. And we also see that they test you, they push the boundaries of your tolerance. So whatever you do doesn't work. You can't satisfy this child. The worst scenario is when you go to a parent's evening and the teacher tells you, I'm really impressed with your child. such great behavior. He or she sets an example for the whole class, and you just sit there and saying, are they talking about a different child? I have a bossy tyrant at home, right? And then the questions start to come up. Do I do something wrong? Am I missing here something? Is it my fault? And it's definitely confirmed when the child says, I wish I was never born. I hate you. I wish I had different parents. Doesn't make you feel better. So there can be many, many examples or causes or situations why your child expresses an aggressive behavior. Here are some of them. For example, the child starts a new school, right? So the different environment is there, the adaptation needs to come in. We have different new classmates, teachers, even pleasing teachers, adapting to new regulations, excelling and feeling the stress for performance, either mentally or physically. All that, particularly in sensitive children, can be very unsettling, because of course they don't know how to deal with these emotions, and then they stuff it all inside, but it comes out in this snappishness. Another reason, of course, can be the separation of divorced parents. In this modern society today, it is not uncommon, unfortunate, right? I don't like the situation so well that we ship our children from one week here and the other week over there, and expect that they will be happy with this arrangement, and often they're not. I've seen it countless of times. It's a really difficult situation for young children in particular, because they feel like a ping pong ball, constantly on the road, with the little suitcase. And often they express their anger and outbursts to the one parent who they choose, they feel actually most comfortable with, to express their emotions. But it's quite a lot. Another reason could be the arrival of a sibling, where they feel jealousy or left behind. Of course, that's not the reality, but they do feel that way and become very aggressive. A residential move, right? Leaving behind friends and feeling homesick and not being able to deal with the situation. Of course, how about parents who instill high expectations onto their own children, and it creates then this fear of, I can't fail, right? Because my father won't like me then. Could be another one. Teenagers, relationship breakups. Oh my God, they keep and stuff their emotions inside themselves, and they feel really hurt, and they're unapproachable during that time. They become snappish and angry. It's grief, it's sadness actually, which causes that, right? And then don't forget physical symptoms. Worms and parasites can really change your child's behavior, as well as food allergies, wheat and dairy. And don't forget the toxicity of vaccinations. Yes, they do change the behavior of children. I've seen it a lot in MMR vaccinations. So I'm sure you can come up with loads and loads of other scenarios, but I just want to give you a few. And if you want to share your comments with me, contact me at my email health@medicanova.net. I'm more than happy to help here. So as I'm a homeopath, I will share with you 4 sort of common remedies which are indicated to align the energy within your aggressive children in quite a drastic way. They're very effective. Of course, there are more, but as I said, these videos are geared for just the general population who has access to these remedies at your local health food store. Now, I'm not interested in just calming down the exaggerated nervous system. I want to know what's the personality of your child and why your child displays in these kind of reactions. So in homeopathy, we'll want to find a remedy which matches the personality, right? That's really the core base principle here on the law likes, cures, likes. So I want to share with you sort of the personality of each remedy, and when you think that matches according to your child's personality, then try it out. So these remedies are called chamomilla, nux vomica, Lycopodium and Ignatius. Often in the health food store you find a number behind these names, right? And it's often 6 or 30. These are sort of the general potencies or strengths which are allowed over the counter to be sold. Now when the newborn or a baby is there, really young sensitive personalities, I would suggest the potency 6, and with any other age, even to adult, go for the potency 30. And I will guide you, how to apply each remedy. Remember to put the remedy under your tongue or on your tongue, and keep a space about 10 minutes, 15 minutes before and after you have taken the remedy, by not consuming any food or drink. Now that's very difficult with children, I understand, but try even to have a little 5 minutes before and after without any food or drink, and it's just easier for the body to take in that frequency rather than being mixed with all the food, which can be filled with spices or any aromatics which maybe can antidote the remedies. The first remedy is called chamomilla, and the core essence is like the Rolling Stones song, I can't get no satisfaction, right? It's just not on. So these kids and adults, they want to be strong and willful and independent, and they are actually in their core already, but they're very sensitive to pain, particular physical pain. So complaints occur usually when they change in their lives. So with small children, we see teething, for example, right? It's a very intense situation where the body structure changes, and it can be very painful. So bearing the pain is not on here. So the reaction is to protest. So to chamomile child or woman, even going through labor, you can see the same pattern coming up, that nobody suffers more than I do and I need help right away, right? So other possible means of expressing rage is used in the form of kicking, screaming, hitting even, biting, particularly in young children. And the only possible way to calm them down is to pick them up and carry them. That's a keynote which gives chamomilla away. A teething child really has a very, very difficult time. They have their hands in their mouth, they drool all the time, and it just itches and it's inflamed the mouth, and they just can't get satisfied, right? So they maybe ask for an apple juice, and you run around and try to get the apple juice, hoping the screaming will stop. You give it to the child, and the child just flings the bottle across the room and says, now I want an orange juice. And you think, what? Right? And this goes on and on and on, and you feel like you're at the verge of explosion. The same pattern can happen in adults, for example. Let's say you have a physical symptom, women in labor, really feel like I can't stand it anymore. I need help right now. Chamomilla is a wonderful remedy. It's actually the remedy which I believe, really maybe changes the suspicious idea in doctors or parents about the efficiency of homeopathy. I think chamomilla can do it. These kids are really difficult to satisfy. Most kids have some activity or sport or some kind of outlet, but that doesn't even help these kids as well. As I said, they can't find a satisfaction within, and therefore continuously getting into conflicts. Their nervous system is highly agitated. They even resist their own development. They just want to stay the kid and not have any responsibility. Always use this remedy, for example, in symptoms when you see teething going on, Watch out also for the green spinach colored stool, because teething is an intense biological change within the structure. And although it's just teething, it's for the body, as I said, a huge change, and there can be other symptoms coming along, like a cold or a flu. So there can be a runny nose or even a fever, and you think, oh, my child has, influenza, but really it's part of the teething process. As I said, don't try to appease your child, by talking to a common child. Just pick them up and carry them around. That's the only thing which really calms them down. Also think about this remedy when you have ear infections, which can be very, very intense. And always when you see this sort of out of sorts, angry, really explosive reaction going on along with this physical symptom. So here's the dosage plan. I would say with babies and newborns, take the potency 6. It's much better here. We don't want to rock the boat too much, but give just a nice little help on a regular basis. Chamomilla 6, 1 tablet every 2 to 3 hours. I would say not more than 5 or 6 tablets, and then step back. Just watch and repeat when it's indicated. Now for older children or even adults, I would say 3 times a day, maybe for 4 or 5 days. See how that works. As soon as improvement sets in, stop giving anything more. Now, a woman in labor, for example, right? You want to have a reaction right away. And so you give the remedy every 5 to 10 minutes, right? To just bring the woman back into her alignment quite quickly. The next remedy is called Nux vomica. Here the energy is very much about aiming high and being very ambitious. So these kids are determined, independent. They have a strong personality and they know very well who they are. They hold their reins, really. They are like little managers in the making. Even as newborns, they are very sensitive to noise and light, but they really prefer peace, and they can be already by themselves even for a short time. You can get the feeling that they're quite independent. Now, when they become dependent because of circumstances maybe, or they feel dependent, then you can see this impulsive reaction coming through. They want their food right away. They're very impatient, they get irritable quite fast, and they flare up. They do not like to be dependent on other people. So everything they do their best, right? They're ambitious and they want to be the best in everything or at everything. They're critical to themselves and of course critical to others. They're perfectionist. Everything must happen at full speed in no time. So once they're busy with something, they find it very difficult to stop, right? So they don't give themselves a rest, and that can lead to exhaustion, mental and physical exhaustion, and also physical symptoms. So due to this heightened nervous system, they can again flare up quite easily, and you can see that in adults as well. Even if they play sport, they give 100%, right? And if everything goes according to they expect, no problem. But let's say they lost the game, leave them alone, right? Otherwise they will just snap. When they're overloaded with homework, particularly over a long period of time, they get edgy, irritable, and very impatient. That's why they can't stand the noise. This has to be changed. They usually, as I said, don't hold the grudge. They don't sit on that for too long because they're off onto the next project already. They usually, in that situation, get headaches or stomach cramps, so their digestive system is very, very, very affected here. They are sincere and they're open and they're quite forward. They don't hold back. And they also expect that from others, right? As well, they're very critical. often they're very sensitive to their surroundings then. They don't miss anything because they're real perfectionists. They really don't like sitting still or visiting family members because they have other things to do, right? That's just holding them back. It's another thing on their plate and they don't want anything to do with that. They always look out for something to push against, right? Something to fight for or defend themselves against. Things must pretty much go as they wish, since they can't tolerate contradiction. Needless to say, there is a danger that they don't get enough rest, right? Even in adults you see that, they workaholics, they're perfectionists, and they wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning and look at the ceiling and think about the next day and what they have to accomplish. They can't go back to sleep, and when they have to go back to work, they are exhausted, right? They're irritable. The physical symptoms are very distinct. So in newborn babies, you often see the colds or the stuffed up nose. The newborns have a lot of snuffles and they have difficulties with breastfeeding then. Because the nervous system is so agitated, these kids have a lot of tensions. And again, as I mentioned before, it goes into their digestive system. Chronic constipation is a big deal here, right? They feel the urge, but it's not coming out, right? Because they're tense, they're spastic inside. The acidic indigestion comes here to mind, the burping, the vomiting, the nausea, right? Particularly if they have exposed themselves to junk food or excess food and alcohol. The stomach system or the whole gastric tract is very sensitive here. The next remedy is called Lycopodium. I mentioned this remedy many times before in previous videos already, but I want to bring it here again because it's very indicated for the situation. Now here the core essence is very much about I am internally powerful. There are perfectionists too in some way, but it's not about achieving, it's about I am powerful and I don't let anybody to take that away from me. So the character of a Lycopodium child is very much rather like a wolf pack. Even the plant in itself has the name wolf's club moss. And in a pack of wolves, there's a strict hierarchy. Each wolf attempts to climb the ladder, right? But must sooner or later also sort of yield to the stronger one, to the top dog. And this pattern you can see in Lycopodium children as well. Even when they're young, they have a natural tendency to spread out their territory. Now, if there is a strict father in the family, or mother, or a brother and or a sister, and they feel they want to look up to, they make the other the top dog, and they don't have a problem then to be the subordinate or to yield, but they don't give up the position very easily. So they constantly challenge people around them in order to test out how far they can go. Lycopodium children demand that their parents and teachers behave in a sort of careful and transparent way. So these kids are intellectuals, right? And are very ambitious. They want to be the best in everything. Often they're precautious, and yet they only undertake things when they really feel sure about that they can do that. So in young children, you don't see them babble. They really want to talk only when they know they can start a sentence and finish a sentence, right? There's also this lack of confidence underneath. They're easygoing, they get along with a lot of people. And at school, for example, as I said before, the teacher doesn't understand when you tell him or her that my child is a brat at home, is a bossy tyrant, right? And the teacher says, no, this child is perfect. But, particularly in adolescence, if the Lycopodium child feels at school as they do at home, then you see this underlying aggressive behavior coming up. They're very critical and have a very strong view about their teachers, and only a handful of teachers can really satisfy a Lycopodium child. If that's the case, then they put the teacher on a pedestal. But if that's not the case, and that's really most the outcome, you will hear words like, he's an idiot, I don't like this teacher, and really start to condemn the educator. They want to achieve intellectually and live a high position in society. At the same time, they want everything in control, and they find it hard to trust others. So as long as they are in control of a situation, everything is okay. But when they suddenly find themselves confronted with new challenges, something which was unexpected, and they can't have their grip over it, then they feel out of sorts and they panic. They are plagued by doubts then, and start asking themselves, will I fail? Can I meet this challenge? So fear of failure is big here. The way to get a grip of this anxiety is to prepare really well. So when they go into an exam, for example, they study well. They maybe have anxiety of anticipation, sweaty palms, and I hope I won't fail. And they start the exam and they feel quite confident. They feel okay. It subsides, and its anxiety just goes away. And then comes a question where they're not quite sure about, and suddenly the panic starts to set in. The word boss comes here to mind. Often parents say, we have an arrogant, even haughty, bossy child at home. I've seen Lycopodium children also bullying others. I think about the particular when you have this sort of know-it-all attitude coming out in them. So when the Lycopodium children feel unwell, they can try to hide their feelings of uncertainty in two ways. So one way is to avoid taking any responsibility, right? Or become helpless, become obedient, almost like flattering the stronger person, right? Like in the wolf pack. And the other side is that they can cover up this feeling then by becoming sort of like, I know it all person, or display this swagger and bravado behavior, where we talk about the arrogance. And if words aren't doing the job here, and then you can hear the swearing, the hitting, the kicking starts. And as I said, Lycopodium is also indicated, I've seen it, when they start bullying others, because it's about, I want to keep my position of power. They're very grumpy in the morning when they wake up. They need their space, and the physical symptoms often are related to a weak liver, and again it goes to the digestive system. So when they have this puffed up ego, also you can see this mirrored in their digestive system, which is sort of puffed up. Distended abdomen, we have lots of farting going on, lots of gas, acidic burping again coming up. They have an affinity to eczema, which is very much related to their digestive system and weak liver, as well as warts on hands. It's very common. The last remedy is called Ignatius amara, and I don't want to go here into the details because I want to use this remedy when I make a video about grief and bereavement. But it is very helpful in children where you expect deep-seated sadness, and that can be from maybe a pet died, a residential move, maybe a friend at the playground was really unfriendly to that child, and they come home, or he comes home and doesn't feel right, but doesn't know how to deal with this emotion, and it's sadness. Of course, dealing with divorced parents, teenagers, separating and feeling the first sort of pain, of an unrequited heartache, and it's just like they feel sad, but they maybe don't cry. They maybe sit in their room. And then you want to approach them. And that's not possible because they're angry, they're snappy, right? They leave me alone. And yet they're sad inside. Ignatius is a wonderful, wonderful remedy here. I would say Ignatius 30, one tablet on a daily basis for 10 days, maybe for older children and adults, and for younger children. Try give it maybe once a week, right? Maybe for 2 or 3 weeks, and see how that makes a difference. It will change this stagnated knot of energy within. Nutritional supplements, yes, I want to suggest them here as well. Studies show that the nutritional status of many people who have an aggressive behavior is poor and often related to a bad diet, junk food. So we have food laden with empty calories, sugar, fried foods, additive, artificial sweeteners, of course, alcohol and other chemicals really affect the function of the brain. Your digestive system is in direct link with your brain via the vagus nerve. We often call the digestive system the second brain. So whatever is on your plate will affect the efficiency of your brain, and vice versa. So I would say vitamin B complex is a big deal here, particular vitamin B1, thiamine. Studies were done, particularly in adolescents who live more on junk food and fast food, that they were deficient in vitamin B1. And once thiamine was given, of course the level went up, but also the behavior improved. A big one is omega-3 oils, fatty acids, DHA. It really has a soothing and nurturing effect on the brain. And it sort of calms down these abnormal thoughts and strange behaviors. 5-HTP, which is an amino acid, and it's needed to produce serotonin. It's a neurotransmitter in the brain. And again, it's suggested that it promotes a calming effect and improves the mood. I would definitely suggest that with teenagers. Now, iron deficiency, anemia, can also create a very sort of aggressive behavior. But in this case, you would need a blood test, because you don't want to bring in more iron if it's not needed, because then almost it becomes a toxin within the body. But anemia, in particular in male adolescents, can be a symptom of aggressive behavior. I would definitely bring in some minerals, and magnesium, selenium comes to mind. Magnesium is great to sort of release the spasmodic tendency within the body, not just within the muscles, but also with the personality here. Regarding herbal supplements like St. John's wort or passion flower or valerian, I think they're great formulas, but I rather tend to treat more the personality, makeup, and also the causes of the affected person with natural remedies, rather than just calming down the agitated nervous system. I think that's it today. I hope you enjoyed this video. To stay updated with ongoing videos, I encourage you to subscribe to this channel, share and like it with your friends. And if you are interested in studying more in the comfort of your home with a home study online course about how to use homeopathy with your family or during pregnancy, labor and postnatal care, I encourage you to go to my website medicanova.net at the online academy. I just reduced these online courses, for $200 less of the original price. So it's a real bargain here. Also, if you're interested in a personal health consultation, either for yourself or your children, contact me at health@medicanova.net. So till next time, much love. Take care.